I'm clumsy. That's it. It's as simple as that. In my life, I had so many clumsy accidents that my mom didn't want me in a kitchen at one point because me in a kitchen, it usually meant something like this. Okay, so that last one wasn't kitchen related, but you get the point. Actually, come to think about it, I'm a little bit like a chica when she enters a kitchen. The list of moments where my clumsiness kicked in is really long. But since that stuff makes for a good storytime video, here I am to tell you 3 of my many clumsy accidents. I was on my way to high school, and on my way to school, I had to go down these stairs that lead to an alley that legitimately looks like one of those streets that homeless people, gangsters, and drug addicts use as lair. But luckily, there were never any of those people, so I never had to worry. It was a winter and weather was really cold and snowy. There was snow and especially ice everywhere on the streets. I came to these stairs that lead to an already mentioned alley, and sure enough, there was ice there just like everywhere else. I started walking down the stairs and I was halfway down when it happened. I was lucky because I was close to the bottom of the stairs when I slipped and I was wearing school bag, so I didn't injure myself badly. My ribs and spine did hurt a little bit, but other than that, nothing was seriously injured. And honestly, I was more concerned whether someone saw me slip rather than was I injured, cause, you know, I was socially awkward high school student. Once again, it's Ice's fault. I was on my way to school again, and it was the end of the same winter when my previously mentioned accident happened. Come to think of it, I had a lot of clumsy accidents on the street that winter. Almost all snow and ice have melted, but some snow and especially ice was still here. I was in front of the school, and on a road that leads to school was previously a lot of ice. But that ice have melted, so now there was a huge puddle of water. I saw that water and I started to move around it, but I failed to notice that there was still some unmelted ice next to a puddle. I slipped again. I ended up lying in that puddle in front of the entire school. I wasn't injured or anything, but you had to see how embarrassed and confused I was. What should I do now? Oh, oh no, they're recording me. Oh, great. Now I'm going to be all over Facebook, Instagram, and tweet. Okay, not Twitter, but still. Oh, great. What should I do now? But do I just pretend like nothing happened? No, I can't. My clothes is all dirty. I need to clean myself. But what should I do now? Do I just leave? Do I ask for permission to go home and clean myself? Well, what should I do now? But right as I was thinking it, one of the teachers who saw me slip came to me and then sent me home to clean myself and then return to the school. But when I actually did return to the school, I just stood in front of the classroom door and mentally prepared myself for the embarrassment that I knew was coming to me the moment I entered the classroom. I know that my classmates know that I slipped and that they are going to let me know that they know. So I enter and silently awaited my fate. So I ended up with class either laughing at me or slow clapping at me, or both, I don't remember. But looking back, it wasn't too bad. My classmates talked about it only for one class, and I lost few minutes of that exact same class. So it all worked out okay for me. But I still don't know why ice hates me. Okay, now this story is serious. Unlike other incidents where I only ended up embarrassed, this story ended with some blood being spilled. And unlike other stories that happened during winter, this one happened during summer break. Near my hometown, there is a lake that I used for swimming, but that lake was in the middle of the forest, and in order to get to it, you'd have to use this road that goes straight through that forest. Now, I was riding a bike while I was on my way to the lake when I noticed that there was another way. Road that leads to the lake has two or three smaller paths right next to it that also can be used to get to the lake. Now, I don't know why they were made. Maybe to keep people off of the road which cars use, but I can't say for sure. Now, I knew these paths existed, but I never used them. But this time I was like, why not? Important part of the story is that between me and this path was a huge ditch, and in order to get over that ditch, I had to use this small bridge. This path that I use starts right at the main road which cars use, and it also ends at that exact same road. So I needed to return on that road eventually. And just like there was a ditch at the beginning of the path, there was a ditch at the end of the path. And remember, I never used this road before, so I was on a completely unknown territory, and that's the reason why I didn't know that instead of having a bridge, just like at the beginning, at the end of the path was just a small board, and I didn't know that due to my lack of movements on this territory. Now you must be thinking, oh Goldie, you're so dumb. How did you not see that there was no bridge? Well, this happened in the forest, and next to this path was a grass. And that grass was really, really tall. And it was so tall that it was hiding the ditch from my field of view. And at the time that I saw that there was no bridge, just a board, it was too late. My bike ended up catapulting me on the road. Now, that ended up well for me because remember, this is the road for the cars. If there were car on the road at that time, I could have ended in far worse condition. But there were no cars, so I only ended up with both knees, elbow, and a hand wounded and covered in mud. I didn't have a phone with me at the time, so I couldn't call anyone for help, and there was nobody around me, and my legs were wounded. So, what was I going to do? I picked up my bike and I ended up walking home with my wounded legs. Because what else was I supposed to do? So I ended up walking home that was more than 2 kilometers away with wounded legs.